You're good.
Is the sound okay?
Yes.
On all sides of the room? Okay. So you ready?
You're ready.
All right. First Position by Rob Davidson. My name is Adam Penn. I'm a college graduate with a BA in music history. Thank you. And a musician, most recently the veteran of a half-hearted attempt at breaking into the open mic scene. Fuck and alas, people. Minneapolis does not lack for wry, observant lyricists with mediocre guitar skills. You have to be talented to succeed here, and it helps to be pushy. I'm neither. Ergo, the day job, data entry in this case, and, please, don't underestimate it. It's quite literally beyond boring. Soporific is the word. Somnolent. Though I assure you that for matters of job security, I don't even think about sitting down to work without a 20-ounce double Americano and a fat wad of nicotine gum. Trying to quit, not quite there, thanks for asking. But if what you want is complete anonymity, coupled with an utter sense of futility, then Compton Consulting is the place for you. Now, the job does offer one perk. You can listen to a personal radio while you type. I like to stroll through the room after we get the new batch of drones, scanning musical tastes. Mostly it's crap. Rap metal, top 40, country singers who wear hats. But there's one girl, Roz. She's into vintage goth, Bauhaus, early Cure, Nick Cave. That's listenable in my book. So I've singled her out. I chat her up at smoke breaks on the street corner or at the bus stop after work. Roz has a lean, angular face and long arms. A dozen black rubber bracelets encircle her wrist. Her sallow skin suggests she never gets out, that she may not eat right. There is perhaps something the matter. So sexy. Today, it is sunny and warm for September. A hint of Indian summer. Roz has agreed to join me for a drink after work. We sit at the north end of Nicollet Mall on the edge of a little plaza. Across the street from us is a man-made pond with a fountain, the outdoor court of WCCO, a local TV station. A Hmong guy hawks hot dogs from a cart. Roz sips a Bloody Mary. I'm drinking stout. We talk about her stuff. UFOs, tarot cards, celestial arrangements. She picks her nose and wipes it on the tablecloth. When drones get together, we don't tell each other who we really are. We tell each other who we want to be. I've met actresses, poets, an inventor, and one guy who claimed to have held a professorship in physics at Stanford in the 60s. Roz says she dropped out of college a year ago. Just sort of fell off the rails. She wants to be a model, but can't work up the initiative. In the meantime, she's thinking about becoming a magician. I'm wondering if Gypsy, she says. My great-grandmother traveled all over Poland, Romania, Hungary. It's in my blood. You don't look like a gypsy. Well, great-grams emigrated to Rhode Island. From there, it's all WASP. But 1/8 is enough. Let me tell you, it fuels my blood. I like the way you say that. I go over wherever my spirit drags me. She smiles. What about you? I tell Roz I'm a musician. I don't see the need to append the modifier failed at this time. I'm in between gigs. I'll be quitting Compton within a week, maybe 10 days. I got a demo out with a couple of labels. It's looking good, real good. You should cut your own CD, Roz says. She lights one of my cigarettes and leaves it dangling from the corner of her mouth. Suggestively. I know a guy who did that in Madison. Left copies at coffee shops and bars. I wrote the liner notes. It was fun. But did he make money? She gives me a look like I'm from another planet. Cheers, I say, and drink. I saw you reading a big, thick book at lunch. I nod. Stone Alone, Bill Wyman's book. He claims he slept with something like 400 girls in 1968. Yeah, and they were all 14, Roz says, laughing. I don't read anything over 200 pages myself. I can't maintain the interest level. It's that gypsy blood. Yeah, maybe. She lifts her chin and runs her tongue across her lips. Want me to read your palm? I smile and extend my hand across the table to her. She traces her fingertips lightly across my palm. Her nails are chewed down to the nubs. What do you see? She gently presses the tip of her index finger into the center of my hand. You are thinking about asking me out. Dinner. A show or something. Hey, you're good. She sits back in her chair. She takes a strand of blue-black hair into the corner of her mouth and slowly chews on it. What do you say when I ask? You have to ask, she says. She grinds her cigarette into the ashtray. Gypsies don't predict results. We just see possibilities. So I ask her. This is how it starts. Andy Hartley comes over to my house one spring afternoon to watch the 4 o'clock movie on KDLH, hosted by Jack McKenna. Andy and I are 4th graders at Washburn Elementary in Duluth, Minnesota. The movie that day is A Hard Day's Night. I've never seen it, never even heard of the Beatles. Suddenly, 4 guys in tight suits are running down the street, chased by hundreds of screaming teenage girls. A little frightening. We were 10. But cool to be so adored. Then a 12-string guitar chord chimes and the title track begins. For the next 2 hours, Andy and I are entranced by everything we see and hear. The bushy hair, the charming accents, the jokes we don't understand. Then there's the music. During Can't Buy Me Love, we pogo on the couch in my mother's basement, shouting with glee as the Beatles cavort aimlessly in an empty field at double speed. It is the greatest film I have ever seen. It is the greatest music I have ever heard. Still. At a downtown bar, we eat oysters on the half shell and drink Campari. I love a woman who will consume raw shellfish. Roz says sushi is her favorite finger food. Under the table, I slide a hand over her knee. She gives me an encouraging nod. I haven't felt this good all year. It's her idea to skip dinner. Who needs dinner? She says. Food will just kill my buzz. I have nothing against a good buzz on an empty stomach. I take her out into the street. We wend our way between the glittering towers of Minneapolis, those fingers of jade and steel and light. On the Hennepin Avenue Bridge, we walk out over the Mississippi. The water below us is a broad, silky ribbon. When the replacement signed to Warner Brothers, I say, they didn't want the corporate bigwigs buying out their early work, so they traipsed into the office of Twin Tone Records up on Nicollet Avenue, and they sweet-talked the secretary into letting them take all of the masters of their first 4 records. And they came right here to this bridge, and they threw the tapes into the river. Roz turns and looks at me, then down at the river, then bursts out laughing. That's brilliant! She rubs her hands along the metal railing, then forms a fist and bangs it. It rings with a dull, hollow sound. Didn't John Berryman jump into the river? Yeah, I think he left from the Washington Avenue Bridge over near the U. I read that he was smiling when he fell. He probably gave a little wave. What does it matter? He's dead. She turns to face me. Did you ever think of killing yourself? No, I say. I don't believe in an afterlife. All the glory and the pain is right here today. You just have to live this life. Yeah, but why? Do you mean, like, is there a cosmic theory for everything? I turn to look at the enormous grain belt beer sign on the east bank of the river. Its neon reds and greens look sort of holy. In a shopping mall, Christmassy kind of way. Do you have to have a reason to live? Can't you just, I don't know, do it? Maybe, she says. She puts her feet up on the lowest rung of the pedestrian guardrail and steps up. But it's like, if you kill yourself, you must have a reason. So if you don't kill yourself, don't you need a reason too? Wait, I think you used a double negative there. I'm serious, she says. She steps up onto the middle rung of the railing. Her thighs press against the top rail. Bending at the waist, she leans forward over the river. Her skirt flutters in the breeze, white polka dots on navy, like a handful of stars dancing just out of arm's reach. It's a pretty sight, but I'm worried about those black carpenter's boots she wears. If she slips on the rail, she's going to pull a Berryman. I move a step closer. Okay, you know what I live for? Music. For writing and playing and listening to music. Good, she says. That's good. She's quiet for a moment, then asks, what's your reason to die? I laugh as I light a cigarette. Who are you, Jim Morrison and shit? You only need one reason. If it's good enough, you'll do it. She throws her hands back, like a bird spreading its wings. Her hair bounces gently in the breeze. I put a hand on her waist. Get down from the railing. Do I make you nervous? She asks, smiling coyly over her shoulder. In a moment, she's down and I move to her, wrap my arms around her, pull her close. I give her a puzzled look. Do a lot of gypsies kill themselves? I ask. No, I don't think so. Not any more than the average, I'd say. Well, that's good. And anyway, you don't have to worry because I have a very good reason for staying alive. Let's have it. I want to break all 10 commandments before I die. A sly smile forms in one corner of her mouth. She draws a fingertip lightly across under my chin. I've only got one more to go. Hold on a minute, I say, pulling back playfully. She shakes her head slowly, then leans forward and whispers into my ear, I've already killed someone. She gives me a quick little kiss on the lips, then slips out of my arms. She walks with a girlish skip, hands dancing at her sides. A vision, luminous, smooth, unidentifiable. A song is a way of gathering in the loose bits and fragments of your life and making something beautiful out of it. It's a little corner of your existence that you compress, distill, mold and reshape until the melody fits the words. A song can lift you up, take you out of your banal existence and put you somewhere, if only for a minute, better than where you are right now. But you have to believe in the song. You have to believe that you can sing it, that the song is yours to sing. What it is a matter of faith. On the bus back to Uptown, I explained my theory of musical relativity. Every conceivable human emotion has been expressed in a song. All you have to do is search hard enough and you'll find it. That voice for what you feel. So everybody should just do covers? Is that what you're saying? No, not at all. You have to write your own stuff. The particular embodying the universal and all that. Look at Joni Mitchell. I don't listen to her, Roz says. She's studying the passengers on the bus. You talk a lot about other people's music. What are your songs like? My stuff? I lean back, looking out the window over my shoulder. Sort of new folk meets cow punk. It's all acoustic, singer-songwriter stuff. Will you play me some? Yeah, okay, maybe, I say, shifting on my haunches. What, you don't have any songs? I got songs, I say hastily. It's just, I haven't been playing out much recently. Fingers are a little stiff, you know? Roz gives me a quick, gentle smile. I've never felt more transparent. Well, I want to hear you. She leans forward and brushes the bangs from my eyes. The boy with the briar patch hair, she says with a little laugh. We get off at West 26th Street, a few blocks shy of Calhoun Square. I'm in the mood to walk. I'm thinking of a wee stroll around the Lake of the Isles neath verdant boughs, the indigo sky spattered with early stars, etc. We cross at the corner and Roz stops before the display window of the Condom Kingdom. Camouflage. Double size. A handwritten sign in one corner of the window announces, "We have dental dams." Roz asks if I have a flavor preference. Strawberry, I say. No mango. They've got both. Do they have a dressing room? Can you try before you buy? There should really be a recycling program. Why recycle? Go edible. I take her hand. A swarm of traffic pours behind us like a song. Later, in my small room, we drink tequila by candlelight and listen to Beth Orton. I burn a stick of my favorite incense, sandalwood. Eventually, Roz asks me to play her some songs. I drink a quick shot. The stereo goes off and I take out my battered acoustic. A cheap Korean import, covered in stickers and taped on photos of freak show people, strange-looking animals, a burning monk. It looks cool, but the guitar is a piece of shit. The action is too high and the intonation is all off. Everything above the 10th fret is out of tune. Not that it matters. I can't solo to save my life. And my songs are all in the first position. They almost all start in G because I really can't sing in any other key. I sing her one song about a guy who falls in love with a department store mannequin. Then another about a guy who falls in love with a dinosaur. Well, the fossilized remains of a dinosaur is displayed in a museum. My third song is about the difficulties of recycling. As I sing, Roz walks around my room, inspecting the messy stacks of CDs and the concert posters taped on the wall. Run, Westy, Run, Husker Du, and my patron saint, Jonathan Richman. She pauses before the one nice thing I own. A gift from the director of my undergraduate honors thesis, a framed print of Roger Flood's Celestial Monochord. I keep playing my tunes, and she keeps pretending she isn't listening. It's nice that way. I don't want her staring at me like the people in the coffee shops, laughing when you're not trying to be funny. When I'm done, I lay the guitar on the mattress beside me. The windows are open and the blinds are up. The pale glow of the halogen streetlights washes the walls in soft orange. I'm sure Roz's silence speaks for itself. She kneels before me. You don't have to say anything, honestly. She places a finger on my lips. It is warm and smells of soap. Your songs are different, but beautiful in a funny, back-of-the-drawer kind of way. Like a lint ball? She smiles. They're about such odd things. People might like them if you didn't sound so nervous. You're choking them. And I tell her, that's why I can't play out. I'm fucking terrified. I tell her how, when I finished school, I cut a demo and hit the open mics. I thought I was ready. But people will say things to you. You can't sing. You can't write. You can't play the guitar. Don't come back. Don't call. Don't quit your day job. They really say that shit. You can't listen to that, Roz says quietly. You can't let it get to you. I place a hand on her slender forearm, stroke it gently. Roz, Roz, Roz. I need a room full of you. She climbs into my lap, and our melody begins. The next morning, Saturday, I treat Roz to a breakfast at Jordan's, a little cafe around the corner from my place. She orders a roll and coffee. Me? I'm ravenous. I order a farmer's plate heaped with hash browns, eggs, a pancake, the works. Roz picks at her roll like a bird. She wears one of my vintage bowling shirts. I ask her which commandment remains to be broken. Do you know them? The 10 Commandments? Oh, it's been a few years, but you got no killing. She holds out a hand. One finger extended. No adultery. No stealing. No coveting thy neighbor's goods. No lies. Geez. She holds up a hand. 5 fingers spread wide. Okay, help me out here. She shakes her head dismissively. No graven images. Honor thy parents. Never take the name of God in vain. Keep the Sabbath. And, she says, leaning forward, know God before God. So let's see. Adultery, I can't help you with that unless you're not married, are you? No, Roz shakes her head. No, but know God before God. I've done everything but worship a God other than God. And it's the first commandment. It's a biggie. Is it? Doesn't seem that hard. Actually, when you think about it, it's the hardest of the lot. She sips at her coffee, holding the mug between her hands. You have to have a God to break the first commandment. You have to believe. That's the hard part. Okay, so you're not so religious, I say. Don't you have a favorite store? I like Target. It's cheap, but actually kind of hip. I bought this skirt there. So, here you go. We take the bus out to the Mall of America, and we bow down before Camp Snoopy. The mall looks like a cathedral. Tall walls reaching to the heavens, skylights beaming down the celestial beneficence, a congregation milling about, fellowship, the communion of the charge card, each transaction a piece of the holy body. I'll worship with you. I need some blue jeans anyway. Roz laughs. I like that, she says. You're good for me. But it wouldn't work. I don't really believe in shopping. Not that way. I wipe my mouth on a napkin. What do you care so much about religion for anyway? I mean, aren't they all sort of, equally full of crap? She frowns as she runs a fingertip around the lip of her coffee cup. There has to be something to explain why we're here. Why this world is the way it is. Why? Is it all that bad? She turns the roll around on her plate. First this way, then that. She puts a hand to her forehead and closes her eyes. She sits like that for a long moment. Long enough that I'm about to tell her she doesn't have to go there. Wherever wherever it is, but then the hand returns to her lap. "This is not a pretty story. I'm telling you that right up front," she says. And she proceeds to tell me of her circle of friends in high school, who got together to wear black and gob on excessive amounts of eyeliner. They drank, popped pills, smoked whatever they could find, SOP for any high school rebel. Enter Candace, the one true friend. She and Roz did absolutely everything together, fed off one another in a weird way. They pushed things, played around a little, held hands in public. They necked at a party once just to get people talking. There might have been some latent sexual stuff there. Oh, really? But it was more about the us versus them, which these two cultivated like a rare plant. But it went too far. They started scaring people off, even their goth buddies. Not that I have anything against lesbians, Roz says, or even being one. I just saw how we'd taken this thing, which was sweet and funny for a while, to an extreme. My world had shrunk to one person. I wanted to find an out, and I tried, I really did. But Candace had a way of clinging to you, of sinking her claws in. This girl was a real piece of work. She'd had some eating disorder and was a cutter to boot, capital D dysfunction. Her dad was a big shot at Norwest Bank, always out of town. Mom pretty much lived at the country club. They owned a mansion on Lake Minnetonka, an acre of beachfront, but Candace lived in the basement, in a little room with blacked out windows, candles all over the place, like a crypt, with a $4,000 stereo, that is. So, we're in there one night, listening to Love and Rockets or whatever, and screwing around with the Ouija board, when Candace says, "It's time to play the Marilyn Monroe game." She's got a pile of her mother's sleeping pills and a big bottle of whiskey. She puts a pill on the table, pours a shot, and stares at me. Now, I'm thinking, this is totally freaky. We've done some sick shit, but never anything like this. I figure it's a head game. She's trying to psych me out. So, okay, I swallow a pill and I take a shot. Then Candace follows suit. After 4 rounds, I'm dizzy. My arms feel like lead pipes. I tell her, let's stop, but she just laughs. You stop first, she says. So I do. I stopped right there. But she keeps popping pills and tossing back the whiskey. I tell her, you win. There's nothing to prove now. But she just keeps laughing. You want me to stop? She says. Then you stop me. Staring me dead in the eyes. She pops another pill, drinks another shot. Does this every minute or two. You don't want me to stop, she says. You want to watch me kill myself. You want to watch me die. I tell her to knock it off, even try to grab the bottle, but she slaps my hand away. If you want me to live, she keeps saying, you have to stop me. Roz picks up her spoon and turns it around in her hand, studying it carefully for some time. After a point, it gets fuzzy, what I can remember. I want to remember that I tried to stop her. I want to remember that I got up, threw her down or something. I want to remember that I tried to save her. We stare into each other's eyes. Hers are a lovely shade of Irish green. And I see she's about to cry. I try to think of something, anything to say, but it's so sad, so far out, that I just have to sit with it first. I let her die, she says. I killed her. No, Rod, that's not true. You can't say that. Why didn't I do something? She pushes her plate away. It clacks loudly against a water glass, spilling a little. Because I hated her, and she knew it. And then she's just sort of gone, staring down at the table like it might tell her something, answer all her questions. A moment later, she's weeping. I help her stand from the table and guide her slender hand as she fumbles with the sleeve of her sweater. And I hold her, right there in the cafe, in front of all those people. I wrap my arms around her body, pull her close, and let her cry, each tear knocking against the door of my heart, willing it to open an inch more, to stop asking cynical questions of the world, to be raw and unafraid. In 500 BC, Pythagoras discovered that the musical scale can be expressed as a series of mathematical proportions. This led Pythagoras, who applied mathematics to all phenomena, to believe that the spacing of the celestial bodies represented a kind of cosmic tuning, or harmony. The music of the spheres, he called it. 2,000 years later, English Rosicrucian and polymath Robert Flood composed a theory of mathematical harmony in the universe, represented visually in his drawing of the celestial monochord, a one-stringed instrument tied firmly at one end to earth, the realm of man. The other end was tuned by the hand of God. In Flood's drawing, the sun hangs midway between God and man, the octave on the divine scale. Flood's monochord, whose 14 intervals produce 15 notes, connected the known material and spiritual worlds in an elegantly structured system corresponding to the musical scale as he understood it. Between man and God there are 4 elements: earth, water, air, and fire, followed by the 7 known planets: the moon, Mercury, Venus, the sun, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. Beyond Saturn lay the realm of fixed stars, succeeded by the 3 angelic hierarchies. Flood's monochord, of course, doesn't explain the cosmos, or the musical scale as we know it today. The moon and the sun aren't planets. We know what lies beyond Saturn, and we have J.S. Bach to thank for dividing the octave into 12 intervals rather than Flood's 15. But what does any of that matter now? Robert Flood was a mystic. He sought, devised, and believed in a system of complete harmonic concordance between God and man. And the universe, as he knew it, could be expressed in precise mathematical and musical proportion. For Robert Flood, the universe was a song, and everything was in tune. After Roz quit Compton a month ago now, she picked up some part-time work at a knick-knack joint in Dinkytown, where she can talk to the undergrads about the zodiac and read tea leaves. Equally dead end, but at least it plays to her nature. We see each other. A lot. I'm writing songs again, and whenever I have a new one, I run it by her. Except for one. The boy with the briar patch hair. My first love song. Well, love song about human beings. That is, one human being loving another, sort of thing. But it's not cheesy or plastic or fake. It's good. No, I mean it. It is. Anyway, about a week ago, Roz took a handful of my demo CDs. They were just dust magnets under the bed, and told me she was going to put a little heat under the mother. I sort of told myself to forget about it, but fucking alas, if she didn't leave me a message on my machine last night telling me to call in sick and get down to the scupper hole at noon tomorrow. And to bring my guitar. All day I've been second-guessing myself, if I should go or not. I think I'm going to puke. The scupper hole is a long room, narrow and dark, with a low ceiling and exposed pipes. The front half, by the windows, has a few tables across from a narrow bar. In the back half, a broad ledge runs at hip level along both walls. If you arrive early, you claim a spot on one of those ledges, and you don't relinquish it, I know because I've been there. Been there a dozen times to see bands. The place reeks of stale cigarette smoke. I walk in, scanning the room for Roz. She sits at the bar, nursing a Bloody Mary. I kiss her, then ask what I'm doing there. You're auditioning for a spot. See the guy with the ponytail? That's Nick. He and I sort of go back, but forget about that now. Just go and play for him. Maybe I should have a drink. I order a scotch on the rocks, then make it a double. Jerry Springer's on the television in the corner. Roz and I watch a fat woman in a chair sob while some guy prances around in his underwear working the crowd. Why do people watch that shit? Roz asks. It's so humiliating. I got no pity for those people, the bartender quips as she rinses glasses in the sink. A silver hoop dangles from her septum and bounces against the top of her lip. They make their money. Show some tit or throw a chair, you get a fucking bonus. The way I see it, you step on that stage, you're asking for it. I take a big belt off the scotch. I think I should go back to work now. Roz grabs my hand and squeezes it tight. This is your work, and you'd better get used to it because it looks like we might have another audition at the 400 Club on Thursday. I lift my eyebrows. We? Roz raises her glass and we toast. Oh, and I need some more demos. Then she sends me on my way, drink in hand. I walk slowly to the back of the club. I place my guitar along the lip of the barren stage. Just one lonely stool on a dirty patch of red Berber carpet. The ponytail guy approaches, sporting a Jam t-shirt. The one with the mod target. Aaron? Adam Penn. Yeah, sorry, I'm Nick. We shake hands. I heard your demo. It's okay, man. You need somebody who knows how to run a mixing board. Thanks? I'll be up front, okay? This is just a favor for Roz, who I love dearly. It's true I do have a couple of slots for an opener next month. No promises. But you never know, you might impress me. He frowns when he sees my guitar, then frowns again when he hears that it doesn't have a jack, nor do I have an acoustic pickup. I love all you artistic geniuses with your shitty equipment. He lights a cigarette, then shrugs his shoulders. I'll mic you through the PA. It's going to sound like crap, but I just want to know if you can sing and play at the same time. Hop up there. I settle in on the stool, adjusting my weight and wishing to hell that I had new strings on the guitar. The ones I've got are tarnished and will sound dull and flat. Nick places a microphone on the stand, inches from the guitar's sound hole. He positions another in front of my face. The track lighting overhead is warm on my neck. Don't move too far away from either mic or no one will hear a thing. The volume will go up and down a bit on the first tune while I set the EQ. How long should I play? I'll let you know, he says, drawing a finger across his throat. You do know you're really lucky. Dude, totally, I appreciate this. Nick laughs. No, I mean about Roz. The way she talks about you. She's fond of hyperbole, I say. My fingers fumble at the tuning pegs. In and out of tune. It seems my low E string just won't stay put. If you say so, but I've known her since middle school. You're damn lucky, even if you don't know it. She's a true believer. He flicks his cigarette on the floor, then steps on it. All right, he says, walking back toward the soundboard. Let her rip. The PA hums with static, an emptiness waiting to be filled. I take a sip of scotch and clear my throat. From her seat at the bar, Roz flashes me a wide grin and an overpronounced thumbs up. I can't help but laugh. Something feels good right now, and I'm not going to wait to hang a label on it. The few heads in the bar turn when I strum the first chord of my new song. I close my eyes and lean forward to sing. The words close on my lips.